What is the best diet? What comes into your mind when you hear the word diet? Do you sigh at the idea of going on a diet? Do you think about boring, tasteless meals that you have to eat? Does it make your skin crawl at the idea of having to give up on foods that you love? Or do you simply view it as a tool that helps you achieve your goal, such as weight loss? Hi my friends, I'm Anna, and today we're going to talk about what the best diet is. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know what the best diet is, but also how to actually make it work for you so that you finally get the results that you want. Whenever we set ourselves a goal, be it weight loss, muscle gain, or whatever else, one of the first things we'll look at is our diet. And how many times did you think that, hey, maybe I should make some changes, maybe I indulge too often, rely too much on takeouts, and that extra cookie ended up being half a dozen. And other different nutrition choices that don't always serve our goals. And I bet that many of you at some point in your life thought or even tried to go on a diet once. Before we dive into what the best diet is, do make sure to take some time to like and subscribe because it really helps get this video to as many people as possible.
What is a diet and how do we know which one to follow?
You've probably heard of diets like paleo, ketogenic, vegan, all meat, or free range, and have an idea of the differences between them. But the idea behind them is this: categorize foods and make them as easy as possible for people to understand. Tell people that this particular diet is the best because it's worked for XYZ, so that's why it will work for you too. And although the ideas behind them are simple, oftentimes they can be incredibly difficult to follow and most people give up. But a diet is more than what we think. A diet is about the way we eat, the food combinations we choose, the nutrients we get, and the practices that sometimes follow our culture or religion. A diet is constantly evolving or changing and is heavily influenced by things like our beliefs, environment, and even society. Food plays such an important role in pretty much every culture. Can you think of Japan without thinking of sushi, or Italy without pizza and pasta? Probably not, and there's a reason why. Food is an integral part in any culture and part of its identity. In some ways, food does define a culture. It brings together families, and we celebrate important milestones in our lives with food. And food can alter the way we think and feel in a given moment. But all of that and more is taken away now with the toxic diet culture. So let's talk a little bit about what happens when things go a little bit too far.
What is the toxic diet culture?
The toxic diet cultures can be pretty difficult to notice at first. It can hide itself in innocent remarks at work, at family gatherings, on TV, or on social media. And to give you some examples, I remember seeing a viral TikTok with an influencer urging people to think about the amount of, I think it was squats. So the amount of squats that they need to do in order to burn off that Oreo that they wanted to eat.
Is butter a carb? Yes.
Whenever someone judges what you eat, or you find yourself judging yourself what you eat, that is a sign of toxic culture. When you go on a crash diet just because it helps you lose fat and look better. Unrealistic diets and expectations are promoted, as well as unrealistic results. And this is so part of our daily lives that it is difficult to see or stay away from it. And fun fact, a few days ago, I was actually commenting on a post about a new fat fitness trend that is being promoted that promises to burn fat around the arms. And next to that post, there were these before and after pictures with the results from following that program. And it is understandable how for an untrained eye, these before and after pictures look believable. And while I was taking part in the conversation, I brought up the topic of how easy it is to manipulate results. And in the span of 20 seconds, I took 2 pictures of my arm and posted them to show my so-called before and after. And these were the pictures. Now that we talked about it, I think it's pretty obvious that this is not a before and after picture. But I can tell you for certain that there are people out there who see these pictures and see them as facts. And the same goes with so many fad diets. We can see the negative impact of this toxic diet culture in many areas of our lives. We start to become obsessed with the number on the scale, and this in turn messes up with your mental health. You start to feel bad, guilty, and shame about your body and what you eat. You start to categorize food as good or bad, and you call that Saturday meal a cheat meal because you're not supposed to have it. And you deny yourself the pleasure to enjoy food because it's not healthy or good enough. I think the most important step here is to become aware of these things and stay away from them as much as possible. Hundreds of businesses thrive and make millions on you feeling this way and falling for their promises. The diet industry uses your fear and insecurities to make money. And lots of it.
Why most diets fail?
Nowadays, the word diet is oftentimes synonymous with food restriction. And although many people achieve their goals through dieting, a really hard truth is that most diets fail. So most people follow a diet, do not achieve their goals, or their success is not long-lasting. Many diets promote restrictions, especially towards a certain group of foods, such as carbohydrates and fats. And for a lot of people, this simply does not work. The more you try to stay away from something, the more difficult it becomes. And yet, so many people are tempted by the idea of quick fixes and crash diets. A study shows the consequences of food restriction, which includes binge eating episodes and feeling of distress around food. And although it is possible to lose weight through diets, another issue comes up when you want to keep that weight off once you're done. And many factors can contribute to this difficulty in keeping the results. There is a hypothesis that prolonged food restrictions increases stress level, which causes the body to release cortisol, which can increase appetite and weight gain. Another factor that can contribute to a diet pitfall is the stress a lot of people put on themselves to change and radically change their nutrition habits. It's that all or nothing mindset, where you believe you can go all in and it's going to work out because that's your new goal. But what most people fail to realize is that new habits take time to implement, and going all in is not always a solution. Treat the new nutrition choices you want to implement like creating a new habit. Instead of going all in, slowly building up new habits will create higher chances of adherence to a new diet. At the same time, do not force yourself to do things that are against your values or preferences. Because think about it, when was the last time you were truly effective with a habit that you hated? But does this mean that diets are bad? Well, not necessarily. Some diets are associated with low obesity rates and good cardiovascular health, such as the Mediterranean diet. And although there is such a high variety of diets that people follow, and it can be overwhelming to understand which is which and what you need to do, they're a lot more similar than you think because they promote some important stuff when it comes to nutrition. It creates more nutrition awareness. They make us pay more attention to what we eat, and it makes us care about what we fuel our body with. It focuses on food quality, some promote more protein, more whole foods, and nutrient-rich meals. It helps control appetite, so whenever we choose healthier options to eat, it becomes more satisfying and filling, so we end up eating less.
What is the best diet?
Oh, and now we finally got to the big question. What is the best diet? I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to answer that. The best diet is the one that works.
What?
I know, a bit underwhelming, but let me explain. By now, you have a better understanding of what a diet is. Generally, we think of diets as something temporary. I am going to go keto until I lose X amount of weight. But what most people fail to realize is that the moment you're done with the diet and revert back to the old habits, you're very likely to start losing the progress you've made and gain all that weight back. So how about we start to change the way we view diets? And instead of saying, I am going on a diet, why not say, hey, I decided to change my nutrition habits and create new, sustainable ones that will be part of my lifestyle indefinitely. As I mentioned earlier, food can define cultures. Tell your Italian friend that he needs to go keto and give up on his beloved Italian food, and he's probably gonna slap you and teach you a few lovely well-wishing words in his native tongue. People come from different ethnic backgrounds, and what will work for them might not work for you. In some parts of the world, people thrive on high-fat meals with the minimum vegetables. Other parts, such as Bolivia, have a traditional diet that consists of low-fat and high carbohydrate. Age also plays a role in how our metabolism works and how we digest food. So it's a bit unrealistic to assume that there is one diet that will fit everyone. We have to keep in mind that we are all different. We have different nutrition mindsets, experiences, taste preferences, budgets, schedules, and nutrition knowledge. It's impossible for one single diet to be best for everyone. And when it comes to weight loss, because I know many people have this goal, a study found no difference in weight loss in people who followed both low-fat and low-carbohydrate diets. Even though you can choose to go on a more standard diet such as ketogenic, vegan, paleo, and so on, know that you don't have to, and it's not the only way. The best results come from the diets that you can follow consistently. Finding what works for you will probably take a lot of trial and error, but gosh, it's so worth it once you figure it out. Our bodies are smart, and they can adapt to many stressors we put them through. But sometimes there's a limit, and the science that, although can be very obvious, oftentimes we choose to ignore. But I want to give you more value with this video, and I truly want to help you create a better relationship with yourself and around food. So I'm going to give you a few guidelines you can follow or look into if you want to create your own diet.
What makes up a good diet?
Unfortunately, a common myth is that only through a strict diet and harsh calorie restriction you can lose weight or be healthy. And this is so far from truth. The things that I've talked about in this video also apply to those who might want to gain weight or just want to improve their nutrition habits. If you decide to go on this journey of figuring out the perfect diet for you, I advise you to keep these things in mind. First of all, a good diet keeps you mindful and aware of what you put in your plate. By simply paying more attention to what you eat, you start to care and prioritize nutrition foods more. It gives you the outcome you want. You might want to feel stronger and healthier, or you want to lose weight or gain weight. Regardless of your goals, your diet should reflect that. It's not restrictive. I recently came across an interesting perspective on how to handle food restrictions. So instead of telling yourself that you can't have it, try to think of what you can add. Let's say you want to eat some French fries, and instead of denying yourself the pleasure of eating them, think of something more nutritious that you can add as a side. Perhaps a bowl of salad.
Oh, Meg, you don't have any salad.
Or maybe some shredded matured cheddar as a topping. And lastly, good nutrition is sustainable. Regardless of the things that go on in your life, be it environmental or financial, you can still make your new diet a part of your lifestyle and can adapt it to the changes that happen. Oftentimes, other things bleed into the way we see nutrition and our mindset around it. Factors such as environmental, emotional, mental do play a huge role in the way we act around food and how it influences us. That's why keeping an open mind and being willing to experiment until you figure things out is key to finding what works for you. Good nutrition is possible for everyone. And I really believe that we need more discussions around it to educate people on what good nutrition habits are, how to implement them in our lives, and how healthy food choices don't have to be tasteless and boring. And before I end this video, I have some exciting news. Soon, I will launch my first training program, Lifting Glute, which focuses on growing and strengthening the largest muscle group in our body, the glutes. With so many people spending a huge part of their day sitting and working at the office, it's no wonder that they will struggle with knee or back pain, which is usually caused by inactive and weak glutes. This is an opportunity to finally focus on yourself, to give yourself the care and attention you deserve, and build that strength and look that you've always wanted. It will also have lots of resources on nutrition and how to create sustainable nutrition habits. In the description box, you'll find the link to sign up to the waiting list to be part of the first who knows when the program is out. Hopefully by now you have a better understanding of what makes a diet efficient, how it can influence your life, and what the best diet is. And if you need to hear that again, it's the one that works for you. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments after watching this video. Do make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. And I'll see you again soon. Bye!